human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
When some wild-eyed eight-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against a barroom wall, he looks at Christy in the eye and he asks if you paid your dues.
Inconceivable!
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Back to Gen.
Yeah, Gen.
We will be there in force. We digress so much in this show.
Battletech pods. Oh, shiny.
Yeah. So we're going to be there for the Battletech pods. It might be like a 27-hour wait because there's
Give me 5 minutes.
90,000 people going to be there in attendance.
Give me 5 minutes. I'll get us to the front of the line.
Like, there's a bomb located. Get out!
Don't give the shit away. No, because that'll shut it down. You don't want anything like that. You want somebody to walk through there and be like, oh, God, I don't think I'm contagious. People will part the Red Sea for you. I mean,
does this look like tuberculosis?
Exactly. Well, I thought they told me that, hepatitis wasn't catching. And, did I scratch myself? Look, hey, could you help me with this?
Hey, I'm bleeding. When you...
Yeah, people they get out of your way.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to the Battletech pods. We're looking forward to just the vendor hall, the auction. The very first year that I got there, I picked up the first edition Call of Cthulhu. Mm-hmm. Last year, I got it signed by Sandy Peterson.
Right on.
So I have a signed first edition Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, you showed me that. I was most impressive.
Oh,
yeah.
I did an entire interview.
That really actually needs to be in like a poly bag with a
I did an entire interview with him, and then at the end of it, I was like, okay, so I'm kind of like geeking out because like this is like, whoa, I am having a fanboy moment, and he was like, I don't know how to react to the fact that you're like, you know who I am.
Yeah.
I was like, no, seriously, like you're like the reason I play games is because you call it Cthulhu.
You're like, can I just touch you?
It was the very first game I ever played. Normal people like D&D and this and that. I first played Call of Cthulhu. That was my first game. Now I run it.
Now who was your first DM or for your first keeper, storyteller? I played.
Well, this was before we met Tom.
Right.
So it was. I take it back. My very first game was Dark Conspiracy, and it was ran by Tony.
Oh, so yeah, you were.
That Tony's game was my very first game.
Okay. Then we had started about the same time. I might have been in for a game before you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, that was my very first game. And it happened that I got involved in all that stuff because that kid right there was in Riley's hospital with a tumor. Mm-hmm. And...
It's not a tumor.
You guys can't hear him. He's over there. I'm not a baby. I'm a tumor. No, but he was in Riley's, and when I wasn't there, and I wasn't
the baby and kept the afterbirth. Quiet, boy.
When I wasn't either at Riley's,
right,
at work, or sleeping,
right,
I was playing games to keep my brain from dwelling on the fact that the situation was going on.
Right, and as I recall, you were working at Steve's Pizza?
No, at the time I was Premier Security.
That's right, you were working, because I ran into you when I was working down at Walmart, because I ran into you after you got stabbed, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was right before I got hit in the head with a 2x4.
Yeah.
I still have that calcified hematoma, giant knot on my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Working security in a big city, you get all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, you see it all, I'm sure.
But there's several people that are now in prison for aggravated assault on an officer.
Yeah.
Because I was a uniformed officer that they chose to stab, punch, kick, hit me with a 2x4.
You got such a winning personality. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
you know. And all of
You
it
were-
was
you
like
were
I
unarmed.
walked through a doorway.
You were unarmed security too, weren't
Yes,
you?
I was armed.
Yeah, see, that's why that shit happened.
When I went to Eagle Security, I was armed security. And we did several things, and I never got touched once.
Right. Funny how that happens. People think twice when you might have to skin a smoke wagon on them.
So, but we're going to be at GenCon. We have the auction. We're going, so if you're looking for us, like I said, if you take a selfie with us, you'll get one of the items from our
How are we going to judge
game.
How are we going to judge the photos? Is it going to be like a group vote, or
Group vote? We'll put it up in the group.
Whoever doesn't make it to Gen Con, gets to pick, or if they ain't got
No,
a
it's
dog
one of
in the
those
fight.
things. It's one of those things that
Group vote on the
all of the picture. We will make a thread selfies with Geek with the GPR crew, and everybody can post their pictures with us, and we'll give away 2 prizes. We will do a random number pull out of all of the things, and one of them will get 1 prize.
Okay.
The rest of the group, right now it's 70 plus, gets to choose their
Favorite. Okay.
and both of those will get a prize.
That'll work.
And we'll see how many people, the 70 plus people in the group, actually listens to the podcast.
Right. We've probably lost them long before now.
Well, that happens, but we'll talk about it again before GenCon happens anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll be in the auction house. We'll be at the pods. We'll be in the vendor hall. We don't do a whole lot of game stuff. We like play testing on the floor, like finding new games, seeing what plays well. Last year, several of us played with. Go up and look at the vampire. Tell me who did it. Mark Reinhagen.
Yeah.
I do believe is his name. Yes. 3rd shelf down.
Talking men.
Green books. No, big, tall green books.
Books are things with pages and words.
It should say something like Mark Reinhagen or something like that. Look at the he can't read.
Camarilla?
He's just handing books.
This is the guide to the Camarilla. Can you see? Do you need light?
Can you read? You are a graduate of Alexandria.
It's not going to be a White Wolf thing, I don't know.
It is a white wolf.
Oh, is it a
thing.
White Wolf thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Big green book, Mark Reinhagen.
I do believe so.
Oh, shit, that's falling out of it. Oh, no, that's old.
Yeah, some
The
of these
guts
things,
are falling out of that one.
yeah, these are old. Yeah, the Camarilla guy was.
Andrew Greenberg, Daniel Greenberg, Mark Ryan.
Mark Reinhagen?
Yeah.
Yes. They actually played with his new zombie game.
Oh, well,
Like,
he's looking at vampire games. Why didn't you tell him it was a zombie
Well, no,
game?
because Mark Reinhagen actually created the vampire game. He is the one that drove the creation for Vampire the Masquerade.
Okay.
So, like, if you look at the core books, like Player's Guide and all that stuff, it's right. Mark Reinhagen is a big name.
Yeah.
He created a new game. He's under a new, I think, Mark Reinhagen Press or something like that.
Right.
It's a vampire like card game type thing, where you get your card, whatever, and then it's a RPG with your card character thing, and it tells you before move, thing, and then after you get so far along, you flip it over, and you're now an intelligent zombie.
Oh, okay.
And you play that way, and you're trying to get out of this area. And Mark actually ran it for everybody there.
Yeah.
So my wife, Jim, and a couple others who from here actually got to play with Mark.
Okay.
And seeing what's funny is outside of my wife, who actually didn't know who he was right off the bat. Everybody else who was there with GPR played Vampire the Masquerade.
Right.
And it was like, he like would have been, oh, it's Mark, look at him, hi. You know, really nice guy. I talked to him several, during the, right after the thing, we talked about stuff and whatever. And he actually shared a booth space with Sandy Peterson,
Oh, yeah.
who was doing Cthulhu Tech,
Yeah.
or Cthulhu Wars, his set, whatever. And then another Cthulhu group on the other side. So it was like Cthulhu on each side of him, Mark Reinhagen in the middle.
Yeah.
It was, I was like, awesome. Like this is my corner. I'm still gonna sit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was one of those things that they had a great time doing it. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I spend $80 a day in the auction house,
Right.
$5 at a time. Because if it goes too high, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I bought the reprint of the Orient Express box set that was like on sale on the floor at that moment for like $125. I bought it for $70
There you go.
in the auction. My wife's like, that's kind of a lot for that one thing. I was like, let me pay for this and get it. Then we'll go to the floor. And
Yeah.
she walked over and I showed her what. She was like, oh, you did great.
Yeah.
She's like, that's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
like half
you.
price.
She's like, okay, we can do that. That's okay.
Yeah.
She's like, we need to play the Oriental Express. I said, that's coming up.
Yep.
And then we found Octun Cthulhu, and I bypassed the Orient Express and went straight into Octun Cthulhu. I said, who knows? I play with time travel and stuff in these games all the
Yeah,
time.
you never know.
I might send you back to deal with the Orient Express stuff.
Right.
There's only an entire, I think it's like 5 really thick books in that thing dealing with just the Orient Express, like the different stops and different stuff that go on and all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously detailed, but awesome.
Right.
But yeah, that's what we do at GenCon almost every year, and I eat well.
Yeah. That's the
Because
important part.
If I'm going to go to GenCon and have access to places that I
Generally
normally
don't,
don't get access
Yeah.
to, I'm going to get stabbed in the kidney, the clada, or the
Yeah,
however
you're right.
you pronounce
Clada.
the clada. I can't remember how I used to pronounce it.
Clado.
No, it was like something.
Clada.
The clada, or no, it wasn't the clada. It was like I didn't pronounce it correctly,
Yeah.
and Pat and Libby looked at me like,
Yeah.
like you will pronounce. I'm like, all right. But the clada, always go there. I don't get to eat there very often.
Right.
First, Thursday of the con, that's where we do lunch.
Yeah.
And I can't do fish and chips, but they do have a gluten-free menu.
Yeah.
So, voila! I can still. I may have to drink a cider or a wine.
Yeah.
No more of my nice beer that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But as I'm rubbing my belly, like
No more Guinness.
no more Guinness.
That's all right. I'll take care of it for you.
But we do that. We do like 2 days of really nice restaurants, and we do a couple. We throw in some food truck stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I imagine they got food trucks parked.
Oh, the
there too.
food trucks like rotate every so often, but they're like boom, 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 boom. There's a regular schedule, and they're always busy.
Yeah.
You have Sun King, who has a tap keg or a tap van
Yeah.
with several kegs in the van. Like they just walk over, open the thing, and start tapping drinks right there. They always have the GenCon signature line that people, and it's different every year,
Yeah.
and it's never repeated.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of their very first ones was my favorite beer ever, and they'll never, ever make it again. Like, I could die. I will sacrifice myself the gluten-free stuff if they ever came out and said, well, we got Flagon Slayer again.
Oh.
Okay. Go ahead and give me 5 cups. Because that was the best
Couldn't get it by the
tasting
keg?
beer ever. But it was a one-off. One time only for GenCon. Every year is a one-time only recipe for GenCon.
And they don't make it and sell it anywhere else? I mean,
Outside of GenCon, you can get it everywhere in GenCon. Every bar has it. Whatever their signature line is for GenCon, they have it out there. But after GenCon, it goes away.
they bottle it,
No,
just tap.
just tap. I am so sad that years ago, my favorite beer ever, fucking ever, was a one-off. I was like, can you please do like a best of?
Maybe they bring it back for 50.
No,
do a
they
best
still
of
they
for
they
the-
still got they still got their 50 and they're they're doing anything.
Well, you think-
Scotty's Brew House has Goblin Ale, and all these other places have their own stuff, but it's never like I almost think they went, well, this is a cool recipe, let's do it. Oh, look, it was this. Next,
Yep.
and it's like, I feel like
You got robbed.
well, that too. But I almost feel like Peanut, where it's like, and he's just like folding his hand out like, because, God, that was my favorite. You don't understand, that was like, it was almost like the whole Pick of Destiny, like, this is not
the greatest
best
song
in the world.
This
It's
is
just a tribute.
Yeah.
Like, there is no greatest song in the world. The only thing else can be a tribute to the best beer that I ever drank.
Yeah.
It was a fucking one-off. And you can always tell when I've started drinking because I break that word out.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Right.
Yeah.
So who are the media guests this year? I hate to admit it, but I haven't really.
I
done
don't
a
think
whole
there
lot of
are
looking.
media guests this year.
They don't have any speakers.
They haven't had very many media guests lately because you got PopCon, Indie Comic Con, and all these other stuff that are geared for media guests.
Yeah.
This is literally geared for gaming. So the media guests would be like game designers and this, that, and the other.
Well,
So
yeah,
like, you
but-
don't have, like, back when in the day it was like you had
We had John Rice Davies because
John Rice Davies, you had Sean Astin, you had
Yeah.
Linda
Blair.
you had what's his name from the Quentin Tarantino vampire movie.
Oh, Danny Trejo.
No, you had it was the black guy.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Come on, Sex Machine."
Yeah, I can't
that
think
guy.
of his
I
name.
can't remember. I love the guy, but
Yeah.
you had him there. You had all these like, I got the Carradine plague from David Carradine.
Yeah.
We were playtesting one of the games that I was developing,
Yeah.
and he came over and sat for like 5-10 minutes and watched us play and asked us questions and whatever. Coughed on me, and then
you got
2
the
days
plague.
later, I had 107 or having almost 107 fever, and I passed it through the entire of Anderson, and like half of the population almost died.
And then he hung himself in a closet.
Yeah, but he. Well, I'm gonna go use the restroom and like walked off, but he was asking, like, engaged in what we were doing.
Your kung fu was not mighty, grasshopper.
No, apparently not.
You couldn't hold a candle.
I got scarred mentally by Walter Koenig, who was there.
Oh yeah, how'd you get mentally scarred by him?
I used the restroom.
Huh?
We got to imagine the convention center restrooms.
Yeah.
So I walked all the way down to the end and used the restroom because there was kind of crowd when I walked in. So I walked all the way down, used the restroom in accordance to the man code where, there's at least one thing between us.
Yeah.
Used it, and I finished up, and I looked down. Everybody cleared out. I looked up, and there's Walter Koenig, who was one of the guest things, signing autographs and taking pictures, walking up to the urinal. walking grandpa steps. You know.
yeah.
So he's like literally
Oh,
up to this thing.
yeah.
10 feet before the urinal. He's already getting everything out. And I'm at the very other end. Just finished up, put everything away, started walking that direction, and when I get within high distance of him, like from me to you, everything's out. And I was like, do-do-do-do, and I wasn't really paying attention, do-do-do-do. I walked out, and I think my wife was with me that day. I was like, "Oh my, it's burned into my retinas." So, like, I was, yeah, that was one of those things. That was like I was scarred for the rest of my life with old man Koenig penis.
You've seen Chekhov naked.
So, there's that.
Big Russian bear.
The only thing I could think of is that she's like, "What's the matter?" I said, "I saw his nuclear vessels."
Saw his nuclear testicles.
Vessels.
Testicles.
Vessels.
Testicles.
Same thing.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, that
Better
was...
you than me.
So, I mean, and, you know, got to meet Peter Davies. Or Peter Davison. Doctor Who.
Okay.
The one under fire for apparently saying something about, you know, whereas the boys thing, because there's now a female Doctor Who and whatnot, he made a comment. Everything else he said was supporting having a female Doctor Who, but he just said something about, you know, wondering where, like, because of the role model, the way Doctor Who was for boys, about accepting and being, you know, like, now that's missing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he said. Now he's crucified, and he's actually got off Twitter. He's like, I'm done. This was fun, but I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like, just because he didn't agree. And he did agree. He just said that,
it's not that he didn't agree. He just
he just said there was a role model in the way you accept people that boys no longer have.
Yeah, there's a...
And he's hopeful and everything for or whatever, but, you know, and I've said this before. I know several girls
Right.
who didn't like the Ghostbusters movie.
We're getting back to this again. Man, I can't make fun of you.
No, I'm just saying, I know several girls who don't like the Ghostbusters movie. I know several girls who aren't too hip on a female Doctor Who.
That doesn't change the fact you're a sexist.
I don't. I think the Ghostbusters movie sucked, but because of everything that the female,
The feminazis.
No. I wrote an entire review of the Ghostbusters movie, and I let somebody read it. I let a girl read it. At Jassel, one of the our geeks here at Geek Public Radio, and she agreed with 100% of it.
But you can't post it. You know why?
Because I'm a guy.
Exactly.
So I was like, you know what? And she's like, go ahead and post. I agree. I'll put my name on it. I don't care. Everything you said is exactly true. And I started to post it. I deleted the post and put a link to Comic Book Girl 19's review of Ghostbusters.
Which said basically the same thing.
Said exactly what I said, but because she was a girl, I couldn't get in trouble.
Right.
I said, I totally agree with everything she said.
Right.
And then I posted that. And later on I said, I wrote an entire, 2,000 word freaking review of this thing, and I threw it away because I would be called all sorts of names because I'm a guy. And apparently I don't count.
You put
So
way
there's
too much thought into that movie. To write a 2,000 word...
dude,
I mean...
Like I said,
That's more than there was dialogue in the movie. I think. Why? I mean, there's
like
not,
I said, like with that whole movie,
I am the master of hate, and that's a bit much for me.
but I didn't hate on the fact that they were women or whatever. I laid out the fact of what I thought was wrong with the movie. The effects were straight out of the Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Well, yeah.
All the ghosts. That was the cheesiest, most. Well, I was like, okay, so it's Ghostbusters meets Haunted Mansion. First of all,
What did you expect?
it's a carbon copy.
What did you
like,
expect?
For like plot point for plot point, bump for bump of the original.
What did you expect?
It was all of the jokes. Like, I don't think I laughed a single time through the thing. I just kind of went, eh.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny.
I rolled my eyes at it because I'll be honest. Certain humor is not my humor.
Right.
I didn't like Bridesmaids, so that whole section.
You're just anti-fat chick. That's what it is.
Well,
No,
not
because you
even
got a
that.
problem with Melissa McCarthy.
McCarthy
Yeah.
because she plays the same character over and over and over and over and over and over and over
Right,
again.
but so did John Wayne, and we love the Duke. Hater.
I
Hater.
didn't really. I like the
Hater.
Duke in maybe one thing, but I'm not a
beat you
big
with this
Duke.
cane right now. You take that back.
I believe that he is the essential guy. Like like
Okay,
you
you're
need
making
to be,
up for it. You're making up for it.
you know,
Keep talking.
Everybody is the Duke. Needs to be. John Wayne is a guy.
Yeah.
Even if his name is Marion.
Don't matter.
No, I'm just saying.
Don't matter.
I'm making.
Trivial points. Trivial points.
But
You disparage the Duke, you get the wrath of the bamboo cane.
well, no, dude, my entire family, like I was raised on every damn John Wayne movie in existence.
Listen to the boy.
He,
Is that you, John Wayne? Is this me?
so
But
he
anyway, I
got to,
digress.
he got to watch
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah, it's a good show.
No, I love.
I'm just busting your balls, honestly.
Oh, I
don't
know,
care.
but what I'm saying was like
I thought it was kind of funny.
it was.
It
just
could have
one-
been better.
It wasn't even the
needs
fact
a
that it had
sequel.
anything to do with what it was, like outside of what it was. I wasn't comparing it to the original. I wasn't comparing it, but when you watch it and you're like, oh look, this is where they're going to confront their first ghost.
Yeah.
Oh look, this is what's going to happen. Oh look, this is what happens when this goes. Oh look, this is what. Oh look
And
at
you
the
don't
climax,
think- you
and
don't
it's
think
like
at least
bump,
some of
bump,
it was
bump,
an
bump,
I
bump,
mean-
bump, bump, bump.
And I'm not necessarily really trying to defend it, but you don't think at least some of it might not have been done that way to be homage to the original?
It could have been an homage, but it fell flat.
Well, shit happens.
Even the best intentions, like hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, but the fact is, when I said, I don't care for this, and this, and I watched it. I was told, you're sexy, you don't like women. Yada, yada, yada. I'm like, I love women. Like, I am looking like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Awesome. Xena. Awesome. Like, I'm looking for a strong female lead. I want to...
Wait.
Wonder Woman was an awesome fucking movie.
You are digging a hole when it comes to the feminazis. You realize I see it coming a mile away.
No, like, I loved Wonder Woman.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, Linda Carter back in the day.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah.
Gal Gadot. The
Oh,
new
well,
one.
that's even worse.
Well, no, because it was not only was a female-led
do you
movie.
realize what you've just done?
No, listen.
You know what you set yourself up for.
Listen, it
Okay.
doesn't matter that they're gorgeous women. It matters to the fact that it was a female-led movie that kept my attention, and I loved the whole thing. It didn't take me away from the fact it was a female-directed movie that was fantastic. I would love to see more from her. It was, the whole 9 years. Like, no, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know the director until this movie, but I honestly, it caught my
Who's
attention.
the director? You don't know the director now. No, that's fine. No, don't Google. Don't Google. You can't save it now.
You're asking me this after
You're right.
and 2 bottles of wine.
You're absolutely right, because this is
Any director outside of Stanley Kubrick, I don't know.
Ivan Reitman.
No, I have no clue.
You don't know who Ivan Reitman is.
I know the name, but I can't tell you right now
What he directed?
what he directed.
He directed the first Ghostbusters.
See, I could
The
barely
defense
tell.
Rests, Your Honor. The
What I was
defense
saying
rests.
was like, no, everybody's pointing out all these flaws about there is several stuff that I love, and just because I hated one movie, I'm a sexist, which is why I said I gave up the whole 2,000 word thing and said, if I'm immediately going to get hated on
Right.
for having legitimate critical issues with this movie,
Right.
I will let somebody who apparently can't do no wrong, and I'm doing air quotes,
You're right.
say exactly what I think.
Right. No, that's a safe play.
It's like, here's what I think. You know what's funny? They completely bypassed her thoughts, bypassed any women who had anything negative to say about it, and only focused on the fact that men didn't like it. Certain men didn't like it.
Well, yeah, because that's the world we live in now.
Well, no, that's the fact that they're sexist, saying that the women's opinions, if they differed from them, didn't matter.
It's a liberal world we live in.
No, that's sexist, saying that women's opinions don't matter.
It's a liberal world we live in.
Just saying.
Yeah, me too. We'll stop before this goes political because I can go that way.
I'm like I said, I'm not going political, but I think it's very, very sexist to totally discount the women.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, but you know nobody ever sees it like that.
Well, I'm one of those.
You're preaching contrary to how I might have sounded. For the majority of this, you're preaching to the choir.
I am one of those people that I'm not
I-
even like. I look at the broader picture about stuff. I sit back. I didn't like the Ghostbusters movie, but I was looking at how much female voices were out. How many female voices were out there saying that they didn't like the idea, and they were shouted down by the other side saying it's a sexist yada yada yada. And I'm like, but if you're discounting their voice, isn't that sexist too? When the female doctor was chosen, there was only a handful of people that said, "Oh no." But of course, everybody fed the trolls.
Right.
I 8 people on the entirety of Twitter that I found that said no, versus millions of people who voiced positive opinions of it.
Right.
Half of the 8 people were women, but they only focused on the 4 guys that I found, and they were quoted in almost every other line. But I found 4 girls that didn't like that voted. They're totally disagree.
Another example of the media.
But if you're going to talk about sexism, you're going to talk about stuff, and that's stuff that happens with the gamer culture in general,
Right.
Especially since was it Gamergate or whatever?
Gamergate.
Yeah, that whole thing where a female critic was supposedly sleeping with a game designer person, whatever, and then all she did was do good reviews about it, and then got called out, and then she called everybody sexist. As far as I understand. Because, I never saw any bad side. All I saw was the backlash about calling all gamers sexist, all gamers this, all gamers that, everybody who is supposed to be a gamer, And I always fell back on the fact that if you go back to the original gamer,
Right.
tabletop gamer, whatever, just because you're a frat boy who likes playing Madden doesn't make you a gamer.
Right.
Just because you play Candy Crush doesn't make you a gamer.
Right.
Just because you do all this other stuff doesn't make you a quote-unquote gamer.
Well, all this shit become, cool because, we grew up as the nerds, basically.
Yeah, and that's kind of where,
now,
as
now
the
it's
old
become
guy.
Cool.
As the old guy, I'm like,
you, where were you when it wasn't cool? So
we grew up in an era that we were made fun of, picked on, beat up.
Take your skinny jeans off and quit pretending, you prissy little.
Yeah, we suffered the slings and arrows of being called a gamer.
Yeah.
And
It
now
made
that
us
it's
old
cool-
and bitter.
And now that it's cool, like you have all these people, and like we were the most inclusive people on the planet.
Right.
You know why? Because nobody liked us.
Right.
And then once everything became cool, and because you can play Madden, and now you're a gamer, or you can do this, and now you're a gamer. It's like,
Talk to me when you've mastered Blaster Master.
it's just like, talk to me when you've had your underwear, pulled up over your head and shoved in a locker.
Right.
Talk to me when all this other stuff's going on. Like, just because those jackholes, the newbies, come in and want to talk smack and do all this other stuff and just troll.
Yeah.
In general, that's all they're doing is trolling
Chicken
people.
shit keyboard commandos.
Guys have been putting up with it for years. Now that the women are actually taking their rightful place as gamers and whatnot, they're starting to get it too. And they're like, it's not fair that we're shitting out. Like, dude, you know how many death threats I got?
Yeah.
You know how many times, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew the chief of police, I would have got swatted?
Yep.
Would you, do you understand, like, how many times, like, outside of the fact that, when we're shooting a movie, like, I get a phone call, hey, there's reports of some guy running down the highway with a gun. Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, we forgot to tell you.
Sorry, we're filming. Okay, well, just remind us.
That's the benefits of a small town. In a small town, you get a phone call. In a big city, you get your ass shot.
Right. And then that's the point. It's just like, I've been through all that stuff, and now it's starting to seep into the other stuff.
The hell we had to put up
sexist.
with. The hell we had to put up when we had the Fade to Black going, and we had to deal with Coxes.
Right.
You know.
We're playing
I've
a
talked to
live
John
action
Cox,
role playing game, and all of a sudden we're summoning demons in the back 40.
Yeah.
And it's in the newspaper and all that stuff.
And it was going to be printed, but then September 11th happened, and there was several issues that you were dedicated to that, and then we got put on the back burner for that until Halloween.
Right.
Oddly enough, even though those interviews and shit happened in August,
Right.
We're going to hold on to this for 2 months,
and then everything came out, and they're like, "Oh," people are like, "Oh, is that all you're doing? You're playing a game?"
Yeah, you got people
And you're
cowering
raising
in fear
money?
and snatching their children away from you because they think that you're a cultist.
Right.
Because that's the way the Harold Bolton decided to portray it.
And then by the time it come October, like, "Oh, so you're just playing a game, and you're raising money for a children's charity for like Riley Hospital, and you're doing all this stuff, and you got insurance, and you're very responsible the way you're doing things."
And we'll put you on the front page when we want to sensationalize it, but when you present the check to Riley Hospital, let's put you on the back page.
Oh no, I still have that. Actually, it's on a thing over there. Gothic Club donates to Riley.
Did it make front? It didn't make front page. Though. We were like halfway back in the
it
business
was like
section.
page
or
6,
something.
A6.
Yeah, A6.
So but there's a lot of things that I see, like women realizing that there is a dark side to the gaming culture.
There's a dark side to everything.
You have the trolls. You had the people who always did bad things, like said things just to make you mad, and that their whole life's blood is to make you go.
They just want to get a reaction out of you. They want to get a rise out of you.
That's their whole purpose. They can't get any they can't get noticed at anywhere else, so they will say things and just to get you to respond.
Yeah, they just want to bully.
And we've gamed with several of them.
Yeah.
And what's funny, before the internet hit big and all this other stuff, there was certain individuals we gamed with on our bulletin boards back when those were the way we communicated, not
GeoCities?
Facebook. Yeah, GeoCities or BB or I can't remember the names of these things now.
Yeah.
But they're like the whole PHP group, like whatever, and forums and whatnot. That's the only way we could connect. Like, and there was people there who would go out of their way to make people angry.
I believe I almost got in a fist fight.
In fact, when 9/11 happened,
Yep, that's where I was going.
there was
with it.
one individual who got on the forums and started blasting all this stuff about how America had it coming and this, that, and the other.
And he wouldn't meet me when I told him to meet me either.
Yeah, you know. So I mean,
shit.
the whole reason he wanted to do it is the only way he could get attention is by doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well, he had my undivided attention, but he failed to want to go ahead and throw. He didn't want to throw hands.
but no,
I
but
was more than happy to.
but there's people like that have been like that will argue and they're like, I don't know. And now I've been reading in the past couple of years, like women said, I don't know where all of this happened. Like this community, like all of the animosity and all the infighting and this, that, and arguing with each other. Like, have you ever played a game?
Yeah.
Have you ever sat down with a rules lawyer? There's a reason they're called rules lawyers. They will go through the book and find every reason why their Munchkin characters should be overly powered and why you should shut up. I was like, you know, this is the stuff we've been dealing with, but now that we have Facebook and all this stuff, you get to see it. Because it's not on a bulletin board. It's not on a forum. It's not on the other stuff. It's how certain people are. And that's part of the geek culture as well. It's not sexist. Because they're not talking about you as a woman. If they are, they're doing it because they don't get any attention anywhere, and this is the way to stir up a whole bunch of stuff and get people talking about them. You know, so coming to the point, I was like, you know, every time I was like, how long have you been a geek? How active have you been? Yeah, you might like Star Wars.
That don't make you.
You might like Star Trek.
Yeah.
You might like all this stuff. You might start getting into games because of all this other stuff. But you like, yeah, you might be a Star Wars quote unquote geek. But you were never one that got, you know, played D&D back in the day. You know, that got stuck in the locker because you were odd.
Right.
You were never one of these people. These are the people, and a small group of those people who got beat up and treated like, you know, crap and all this stuff. They're the ones who are now the trolls. Yeah. Who are doing all this stuff, feeding all that hate. And they're the ones that are sitting back going, you know, me and my 11 bots on Twitter can turn around and do this, and I bet you we can get attention. You know. And I'm not the only one to point stuff out like that. There's several new articles that came out that talk about like the fact that everywhere they turn, there's only a handful of criticism, but this overwhelming thing saying, we want a new female doctor, and this, that, and the other. We're looking forward to like this overwhelming flow, and all of the hate steered toward like any male viewer of Doctor Who is automatically assumed to not, unless they come out and say, oh no, I love, you know, it's automatically you're guilty. Yeah. Because you have a handful of people who are like, I'm going to stir up the fire. And like literally I cannot find, like outside of like the 8 people, and half of who, like I said, were women. Right. And again, I still think it's sexist that they didn't, you know, it's like, oh no, the women are just, they're just confused. The men are the problem.
We're always the problem.
You know, and you know, you're dealing with a situation where it's a brand who is dealing with low ratings at the moment. It needs something to stir it up. I would love to say that, you know, having a female lead for Doctor Who is genuinely just something, she was the best person for it. You got to move forward, this, that, and the other. That's awesome. Yeah. Granted, you know, she was in Broadchurch. I don't see how Broadchurch, I like Broadchurch, but I don't see how that will mold. She's a good actress. Yeah. But like Doctor Who is a different skill set. Right. I mean, you got David Tennant who crossed over. You had the guy who played Rory. I can't remember his name. Yeah. He crossed over into it. But you know, you never seen anybody cross from that over to from Broadchurch or from the dramatic into the Doctor Who. Right. She could be awesome, and I hope she's awesome. But that's my only criticism. It was like, you know, it seems like with the amount of press that, and as soon as it was announced, 37,000 articles came out about how men were sexist for saying that they didn't want a female. It was like, as soon as it was announced, everything started queuing. It was like every hour there was a new article.
Mm-hmm.
BBC America, BBC UK, the Radio Times, the Doctor Who page, everything came out with like articles on almost on the hour about how, and like every person who was ever connected with Doctor Who came out saying anybody who thinks differently is yada yada. And it seemed like a big push to say there's this large group of Whovians that don't like wouldn't like a female Doctor Who. I think I know 4 that I found. Males, anyway, like I said.
I mean, that's what you run into this day and age.
And it was like, I was like, I would love to think it was just a choice that yes, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But you have Chibald, who was the head of Broadchurch, who worked with Whittaker before she, so like there's already some nepotism there.
Yeah.
He's already worked with her. She may have nailed the audition. We will never know because they won't release the audition stuff.
Right.
But it almost screamed. It could scream, if you look at it in a certain of nepotism, because she's already worked with her, this, that, and the other. He wanted to get attention back to a flagging, something that was sagging in the ratings.
Right.
He wanted to bring new attention, new blood, new whatever to this whole thing. So let's do a female. I already know when I worked with her, we can put it out that all these people are sexist. If they don't like it,
right,
we can get all this attention to it. Like, when was the last time Fox 59, our local Fox affiliate, like just broadcast Fox,
right,
or ABC or NBC or any of them,
yeah,
talked about Doctor Who? Never.
Yeah.
Never. But every single one of them did a story about how it was the first female Doctor Who.
Well, yeah.
You know how many new, it's like pictures of little girls saying, "Yay, it's a female Doctor Who." All that stuff is like, good. I hope she's great. I don't want her to fail. You know why? Because I love the series.
Right.
But if you look at it critically,
right,
without the rose-colored glasses of saying everything is perfect, saying it came at an opportune time with somebody that the new producer and showrunner already knows, already worked with. It's built up a fervor to where everybody is either biting at the bit. It's creating an audience that wasn't there,
right,
supposedly, and all this stuff. Like
a Star Trek reboot.
It screams that it was done just to boost ratings.
Right.
And that's what I'm like, I hope she does great. But if this is the only reason they did it...
Seems kind of shallow, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm not going to get called out for anything. If I do, all hate mail needs to go to Stafford. But, like I said, I would love, but seeing her, I don't see her as Doctor Who.
Right.
I want to see her, but I didn't see Matt Smith as Doctor Who.
Right.
I didn't see Peter Capaldi as Doctor Who.
Right.
All I saw Capaldi as was the loudmouth, the foul mouth guy that he was on whatever series he was before. While he was on Doctor Who, he was also doing another series.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is weird. Like, I've never seen a Doctor Who being on multiple series at the same time, and he's like he's over here going, that's the bastards. It's like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And it took me to the very end to be like, okay, I kind of like Capaldi.
Right.
I really, Smith, it took me a long time to get on board with Smith.
Right.
Never really liked Tennant.
Right.
I mean, I was Eccleston, was like, that's cool. Davidson, that's cool. start going back into the original. Like, every time you change it, takes a minute to get used to it.
Right.
Everybody's going to, like, nobody's going to be like, oh, they're awesome. I haven't seen a thing they're in, but they're awesome. You know,
Exactly.
as a Doctor Who, I've never seen an episode, but they're cool.
Yeah.
If they're going to be honest, everybody's going to be like, I hope they don't suck.
Yeah.
I will be gung-ho saying, yay, they should be so good. Hope they don't suck, hope they don't suck, hope they don't suck, hope they don't suck. You know. But, like I said, you know, when it comes down to the fact that, you know, that's what it is. We have to see what's going to come out of it. And just because, you know, all the stuff, you know, like, just because you have, like, 8 people who have, you know, multiple Twitter accounts, I could make
Twitter bot.
100 Twitter bots right now.
Right.
In fact, I have 5, which...
Yeah.
It's only 5. I can't make anything trend.
Yeah.
All I can do is share.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if I post something on my account, all these 5 bots share that. I can't do anything else because I'm not that cool yet.
Right.
I can't have them have, like, Twitter wars with each other. Which would be awesome. Like my 2 bots just start flaming each other. For no reason other than, like, you're a sexist, you're a racist.
Twitter bot Civil War.
Yeah, you know, it's like...
Team A, Team B.
And
Would
like,
you like to play a game?
like, thermonuclear war.
Order it to disarm the missiles.
But, you know, just because there's people who have Twitter bots out there and who like to stir the crap, because
I'd be dangerous with a Twitter bot.
they're fun to play with.
Yeah,
but
I don't even. I've
once you get things going, like whatever, they're pretty much, you don't touch them.
Right.
As long as you post stuff, they'll post stuff. And all it is almost like a relay.
Okay.
Like, I do this, they retweet me. And if you have them geared up, like, you do this one retweets you, this one retweets them, this one retweets them, and it looks like you're starting to build because you have all these people who are retweeting and retweeting and retweeting and retweeting.
Yeah.
And you have this, you know.
I don't even know how to use Twitter. I've got an account that we had just so we could follow the school system, but I really have no idea how to use Twitter or Twitter.
I twatted.
Yeah.
I twat kind of not regularly anymore.
I guess it's like just posting Facebook statuses.
But 149 characters.
Well, see, that's not even enough for me to get a good rant going.
No. And you like do part 1, part 2, part 3, and you're looking. People actually.
And then there's
down.
like pound signs too in it, right?
Hashtags.
Oh yeah, hashtags. Pound signs, hashtags, whatever.
The annoying things back when we were young and had to do the dial. What do you mean I have to do pound?
Rotary phone.
Yeah. I grew up on a rotary phone.
We had one.
You know, back in the day when you're trying to call in town and it was like 4 numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to call Bob. 3, 1, 5, 9. Oh, God, it's the 9.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as like, hey, Mabel, can you connect me to 391?
Just one step away.
Really, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I got mad when it was like, do I really have to put 4 in front of the number? And to call the town over, I have to put 5.
Yeah.
And over here, I have to put 6. If I want to call this other town, I have to do the whole 3 digits if I want to call Anderson.
Yeah. I remember.
It's long distance to Muncie.
Yeah.
Still long distance, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember when we were growing up, Matt Sigler, his, sure, I'll take another shot of it.
We got to kill it.
Yeah. His phone number, at the time, my phone number, the last 4 digits were 7183.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his were 7173. And I would get, on occasion, we killed it. Bill's bottle's dead.
The Bill bottle's dead.
We killed an Eddie and killed a Bill.
It's a good night.
Yeah. But on occasion we'd
outside
get...
of stupidity.
Yeah. Thank you, APD. We'd occasionally get wrong numbers. And I might recognize them, or they might say, "Yeah, is Matt there?" Or is it somebody? Like, I'm like, by chance, and then sometimes by chance, are you looking for the signalers? Well, yeah. How did you know? I was like, because their number is one off. I was like, you want 7173? You dialed 7183. Oh, hey, okay, I'm sorry, thanks. Hey, no problem. Back in the days where you didn't know who was calling until you picked up the phone.
Right.
Yellow.
Yeah. Now you're like, who the hell is this? Yeah. Like you always, or the fact that it was mounted to the wall, owned by AT&T, and you had the really long cord.
Yep.
So you could go from one room to the other.
To the other.
And 9 times out of 10, no matter what house it was, the phone was mounted in the kitchen.
Yep. Or on the wall in between the kitchen and another room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you go and then you walked into the other room and like sat down and like and like the cord was stretched out a mile long.
There was a curly cord that wound up being straight by the time it was done. You could wrap around the house 3 times.
Right.
Yeah. Or if it was a brand new cord, you accidentally dropped the receiver, you got to chase that son of a bitch all the way through the house because it's back by the bottom of the phone. You were upstairs and around the corner, and you got to chase it down now.
Well, this has been Geek Public Radio. This has been a really long episode.
Yeah.
We talked for 2 hours
on this
episode. Yes.
No kidding.
2 hours for this episode.
Well, we got to break that in half, don't we?
Yeah, it's.
We
early in the morning.
We recorded like a week's worth of shit.
Yeah, it might be to be continued.
Yeah.
To break that up, but yeah, it is almost 2 hours. It is 1 hour and 58 minutes of this episode. But that's what happens when we sit down and start talking and having a good time.
Yeah.
We just talk and talk and talk, and next thing you know,
it's 4 in the morning.
It's 4 in the morning.
Get my ass home.
And we still got to finish our 2 glasses and whatnot. Anywho, this is Topher the Bearded Bastard.
Stafford.
And this has been Geek Public Radio. If you would like to disagree or send a hate mail, send it to voidwalker at hotmail.com.
Live.com.
At live.com.
Yeah. That'll go to my phone. You'll get an instant response of, I don't give a shit. Expect those. I have them preloaded.
It's automatic. He doesn't even look at it anymore.
I look at it.
He's like, oh, yeah, send the form letter.
I didn't tell you about my email bots, did I?
But this has been Geek Public Radio on geekpublicradio.com. Check us out on facebook.com/geekpublicradio. Blah, 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 alcohol talking. geekpublicradio.com. And keep an eye out for us on iHeartRadio and a couple other things that we got coming on. Check us out, geekpublicradio.com. We'll have all of the information of where you can find us right there. I will talk to you later. So will he.
See ya.